This is SVL, SOUQ Business Landscape. And if you're watching us, you're catching us live from SOUQ News. We are reaching you right from one of the tallest buildings in West Africa and the most beautiful city you can ever think of. Find out for yourself. Now, today we'll be looking at the tax reforms as it concerns the 5% fuel surcharge. A lot of people have argued for, against, and as we speak, some people are thinking of going on strike because of it. We want to also hear from you. What's your take on this? We will talk majorly. How is business affecting you? How has money been put on your table, your pocket, your country? How are they gaining? Losing out from what's happening on the other side of the continent. It's all about movement, development, business. China is the highest producer of soybeans. Why are we not? Why is Africa not? These are issues we'll be talking about. There are several other things we'll also be looking at. So you need to be here. Don't go anywhere. My name is SOUQ, John Rogers SOUQ, and on this table that is personified, I have the beautiful one here today to start the show with us. Your Excellencies, join me as I welcome Swift.
Good morning, Mr. SOUQ. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank
you. I love the tie. You look good, by the way.
Thank you.
Good morning, Doctor. Welcome back into the country. No, Doctor abandoned us, but thank God that we're back. Yes. You can't remember.
Confessions.
We are going to drag this. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Africa. Let's get ready to dilate and, enjoy the best of the best when it comes to trending topics and have an amazing time with us on SBL.
Okay, you're welcome back. Now, we also have someone that decided to travel around the world. These are what elites do. Please join me as I welcome back to this table the Oracle himself. Dr. Zamanze, you're welcome, sir.
Good Nigeria. Good to be here, SOUQ. Honestly, I don't know who I lead, and maybe as the program progresses, we will find out. And really lit.
Okay.
Yes, the movers and the shakers of.
Now you get to know what we are talking about with the amount of stamps on your passport. That's why you know who you are. Yes, let's get straight to the tax reform. FG clarifies 5% fuel surcharge. Now the federal government has clarified that the 5% surcharge on fuel included in the new tax law is not a fresh levy introduced by the Tinubu administration, but a restatement of an existing provision under the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, Act of 2007. Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, explained that the surcharge was incorporated into the new Nigerian Tax Act for harmonization and transparency, not immediate implementation. He noted that proceeds from the charge are designed as a dedicated fund for road maintenance and infrastructure, which would reduce travel time, lower logistics costs, and ease vehicle repairs. Oyedele stressed that the surcharge will not apply to household kerosene, LPG, compressed natural gas, or other clean energy products, in line with Nigeria's energy transition agenda. He added that subsidy savings alone cannot cover Nigeria's road infrastructure need. Hence, the importance of a dedicated road fund to ease public concerns. Oyedele highlighted that the government has already scrapped or suspended several levies, including VAT on fuel, excise on telecoms, and cybersecurity levy to reduce the tax burden on households and small businesses. He emphasized that harmonizing the surcharge under the new tax framework ensures predictability in road financing and creates a forward-looking legal system to support infrastructure and climate-related changes. Okay, Doc, let me welcome you to this.
Thank you.
This has been in the forefront for well over months, but right now it's turning to an argumentative issue with those for and those against, those strengthening and those trying to clarify. So as we speak right now, this 5% at the end of the day is going to come out from the pocket of us. I almost did not include you because I know that you have a dump.
you know there's the bourgeoisie.
Yeah, they have fuel dumps. So good.
That's what
so as
you see, it's absolutely unfortunate that we live in an environment where a lot of people run around with plenty of ignorance.
Okay.
And I think that is a problem. fundamentally people, even those who work, in short, we were having a meeting last week, and my friend was saying to me that I'm shocked that very senior government officers don't even have a hand on some of the reforms that have been put in place since 2009 in government. And so when they ask, they say, oh, we don't have. They say they don't have because they are not aware. And I think this is really the problem of ignorance. Again, going back to those old saying that if you want to hide anything from a black man, you write it in a book because they will never read it. These are the problem. Now, if you remember, when Obasanjo came in, there was a lot of issues on the road. And the issues then were the toll gates that were everywhere. And government wasn't making so much money from the toll gates. And then Obasanjo decided to take off the toll gate. Because the whole idea of the toll gate was to actually raise money for FEMA so that they can maintain all the roads. But unfortunately, many people who were working in the toll gate had their own printed receipts. And they were selling receipts, and money wasn't getting to FEMA or getting to federal government. And the queue or the traffic that are generated in those tolls were not adding up. Government is not making money, but people are paying. So what the government decided to do was decided to remove the toll gate and restructure the pricing of petroleum products. And this cost maintenance was inserted on the template for costing fuel. Nigeria has been paying 5%.
Not in our faces.
Yeah, but you don't know it. So the fact that they are writing the books and they are clarifying the issue does not make it new. So people should, what is the template for fuel costing? You have it, for example, the cost of transportation from one end to another was 6 Naira on the fuel template. Cost of logistics, cost of batches. Then, of course, the cost of road maintenance was factored into it. And then, of course, the FEMA Act, when it was written in 2007, it was made part and parcel of it. So it's not a new law. So where is the hue and the cry coming from? Because you see the problem here is the fact that most of the time, some people, of course, misinformation because they are not aware, but there are also people who are deliberately disinforming the public because they want to score some points to say, oh, give a dog a bad name so you can hang it. So those things have been there.
Sir, they don't hang dogs anymore. They eat them now.
Yeah. But they have always eaten dogs. My people in it, see. Yes, it's a delicacy.
So, okay, now, add this to it. If we are looking at 5% tax on fuel, okay, majorly PMS and diesel, that's what we are looking at.
Because it's the people that use it that uses the toll gate.
And I think aviation fuel is also going to come to play.
No.
It's not going to come to play.
No.
Or PMS and diesel. Okay, now, is it going to be taken from point of dispense or from point of discharge on the depot?
It's already factored into the pump price of petrol.
Have we started paying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
No, have we started paying like now?
Now, that's what I'm saying to you.
Okay.
This thing
has been there.
Has been there.
Oh, we are paying already.
We are paying already.
Okay.
Because all this while you are saying that the petroleum price, people are talking about the landing cost of petrol.
Okay.
And then there are other associated costs that come with petrol.
Okay.
Now, these associated costs that come with the petrol are, one, cost of distribution.
Okay.
Which, of course, the people who are going to move it, because then we were solely depending on importation. So, you say for a truck that is moving a fuel from a Apapa depot here, for example, and is going to Maiduguri, or going to Benin, or going to Ore, or whatever it's going, in that pump price that you're paying, whether it was at 700, at 300, at 180, at 800, in that pricing template, this money has been factored into
it. Okay.
So it's being paid at the pump price. So what it is that now we are going to have maybe government now saying that was this money actually going to the government or going to FEMA? Probably with the e-government now, it is easier for government to be able to capture that whoever sells petrol, that there's a certain percentage of it that should come back to government as tax.
Okay, going this particular route, let me come to you, Swift. Now, over time, we've seen that fuel has been sold, education has come. Okay, this money has always been there. It's not new. How can government be able to now account for us and say, okay, good, from January to December, this is the 5% that came out, and for the major oil marketers and distributors and refiners, have they been remitting this 5%?
Okay, so before I run there, I want to break something down. I think I've always said it, and I'll keep saying it. Part of the issues the Tinubu administration has is, I'll say their public relations is not amazing at all. So you see, the way the doctor has literally broken down this, I have seen media houses. This has been a sing-song for media houses for the past 1 week or 1.5 weeks. People have called in. Nigerians have cried. People have expressed their fears. It was just about 2-3 days ago that the government didn't even come out. It was Oyedele that came out to talk about it. And when I saw him talk, this a book kind of person. He was limited. His vocabulary was limited to reach the common man. And I kept looking. When he was explaining, it was like, oh, the tax has always been there. It didn't, and I was laughing. What he was supposed to say is, don't bother yourself. This law is not new. This law is like what you pay on education, on health. Government is already sorting this. But he couldn't, because he's in a different place from the common man. And so even when he still explained it, some media houses still took it as a fault because he made a statement and he said it is going to...
And they did not look for common man like us to explain.
And he said, yes, it's the truth. And he said...
Doctor, please don't anger us.
I'm going to tell you the truth. And he said it is going to be the Minister of Finance. But he just made... The only thing he said that made people's hearts at ease was the law will not take effect from January 2026, that he knows that's people's fear, that the law will not take effect from there, but that do not worry, it's going to be the Minister of Finance to actually, and I remembered I had a friend who was saying, no, this thing has always, this 5% has always been, that there was a time it was suspended, but it is back. So, somebody was saying that one should shut up, it's an APC person, another person, and I was just laughing, I was just at the background, because of course, I didn't want to say a lot. But one, there was something he noted, he talked about the harmony of law, which people must understand. These laws have always been there. Now we are having a new law. Instead of raising new laws, they decided to bring back the old laws that are there and put it back in place and just work on one or two things. They didn't increase it to a 10%. It has always been a 5%. And I think a lot of media houses should be embarrassed. The federal government needs to write to them, when you start conversations like this, you spur the people in wrong directions, then you should come out and have a public apology. Apologizing for those topics you have had, those topics that have taken Nigeria, because I sat in a keke and I was trying to explain to the keke man some days ago, and the guy was worried. 5%, that means what we will be paying now. Instead of people to be paying 300, you are paying this. And we're doing a lot of breakdown. That's the first problem I have, the relations. It's not well explained. The second problem I have is, like we say, we don't have a pricing control. So I was telling the keke man when he was talking, and I said, sir, fuel used to be 997, came down to 940 something. You were carrying 300 naira. For the past 6 months, fuel has been between 870. I said, that's 100 naira difference. He said, yes, but you are still carrying 300 naira. And he said, it's because, and I said, because there's no pricing law. I say it's the same way the 5%, you won't even know when it comes and goes. Okay.
They won't know when it comes and goes.
Yes.
So if we calculate at 860 naira, 5% will be like 230 naira. No, 23 naira.
Good.
Sorry.
So they also said that it's not like the 5% is on every liter.
Okay, my math has to be good.
Which you must realize, the 5%, hold on. The 5% is not on every liter.
Okay.
It's on like volumes. It's like your taxation generally. If you earn less than 800,000, you are not taxed.
How can you determine who earns more or not?
No, it's not by you. It's from the delivery, the pump prices. So there are certain amount, there's this volume you pick. that is taxed on. If it's less than that particular volume, it's not taxed on. So like I said, it's just the laws that are not being set properly. Like in the Tinubu administration right now, if you are importing anything less than $3,000, $300, I mean, you are not being taxed.
That's 4 times in a year.
Good.
Specific.
Good.
That's going to cause a whole lot
hold
of
on, because there's a particular website I get stuff from, and I know that they tell you tax-free, shipping free, because they have a way that they have found to package these packages, and they confirm that, okay, these packages are less than this amount, so they are coming to us at a cheaper price. But people that don't know keep fighting the government. And when you are trying to explain to people, you now start to sound like, oh, you are too sympathetic with the government. Like I said, it is about prayer stunts. The government should have hushed. They should have stopped this since last week. They should have got people like Doctor that are well enlightened to sit down and do this analysis for a long time. And I think they still owe Nigerian people a proper analysis. They have intelligent people. They have engineers. They have people, you know, from Petrocam and all that work. They need to sit them down. They need to do videos. They need to go online, because online is the new medicine. And what people get online is more like information for them. That's what they hold on to. They really need to be very deliberate about this, because to me, they are just finishing their image and they are not doing anything about it. It hurts. Okay,
while it hurts, let's look at the explanation that came from Oyedele. Said this particular 5% is not going live. Now you are confusing me one way or the other. Doc, you said it's already there. That it's not new.
The law has been there, so yes, that means it's already
new.
there.
We all know it's been there, but have we been paying for it? Or is it something that they're going to add at a specific time?
Yeah, that is the point. You see, in the template of petroleum pricing, that thing is there.
But as you speak now, when I go to buy fuel, am I paying for it already?
That is what I'm saying. Because every liter of petrol you buy, there's a certain percentage of it that goes to different places. So, you see, the money comes in bulk.
Okay.
Now, then, of course, government says, okay, there's some levy for road maintenance. There's levy for distribution. And other levies that makes up the entire petroleum template.
But right now, distribution is Dangote if he succeeds in that.
Yeah, so, but you see, there's a tax on it. Yeah, for those people who pick from Dangote.
Okay.
So the template that NNPC created for the sale of petroleum products is what everybody is using.
Okay, but that template right now, since we've opened the market, is this still going to be...
So you see, pricing is determined. NNPC says this is the range which you can sell. And what makes these price elements? Your inputs. So part of these things are factored into the pricing of petrol. So what I don't know is that has government actually, has FEMA actually be getting all of the money as it were? That's a different ballgame, because if FEMA was making all those money,
they would have come out to say
then by now we would have seen maybe the extent to which our roads were maintained, because they're all factored into pricing template. So the act that was written in 2007 is not new, the FEMA Act.
Okay.
That how will FEMA get money? And so it was said that this is part of how FEMA are going to get money, because we have removed the toll gates, and because there are no tolls anymore on federal highways. So, because the toll was generating money for the maintenance of the road, which Abinusho should have been. But now they have moved it. But I really would have preferred that if government was going to do like every other person has done elsewhere in the world. I see that in Canada. I see that in UAE. I see that where, of course, some certain roads are designated. I was going to travel in Nairobi that day, going to the airport, and the driver asked me, do you want to take the express, or you want us to follow through Mombasa Road? And I looked at time. I had time. And I said, what's the implication of passing the express? He said, of course, if you pass the express, we pay 800 shilling extra.
Tax.
So if we pass Mombasa Road, then we can cope with the traffic and the rest of it. We will not pay the 800. So that's what governments all over the world have done. Nobody is building iron and brick kind of toll gates anymore. They are all electronics. Such that every vehicle that is registered in Nigeria has a wallet and a tag to it. That when you decide to use those roads where there are tolls, then they are automatically deducted from your wallet and they are sent straight to the Consolidated Revenue Fund or a special fund, special vehicle for public road that receive the fund. And then, of course, we can see on the dashboard how much money is collected daily, weekly, monthly, annually. And then, of course, people now begin to explain how the money is spent.
Okay. Now, to everybody out there, it's always good we get informed. We know things, not just knowing or for knowing's sake, but we are well informed before we take actions. And also, let's try our best to avoid crowd mentality. That herd mentality is something that has put us back for too long a time. Let's go to our second story for today, and it looks very well like the first two. Now, for those that are wondering, there is this particular strike action that has been brewing for a while. We'll go on a very short break, and when we return, we'll give you the full gist. Don't go anywhere. This is SBL.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Premature said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
In Africa, and there's one man who has consistently been a household name and index of reference in the business arena. The name Aliko Dangote apparently stands tall. The Africa's richest man clearly benchmarks success, wealth, and prosperity. His unofficial love and passion for business are quite phenomenal. These can be traced to his background. Born in April 10, 1957 to Maria Sanusi Dangote and Mohammed Dangote, his maternal ancestors were prosperous caravan traders under British colonial rule, and his grandfather, Alhaji Sanusi Dangote, was a commodity trader. Dangote's grandfather was heavily involved in his upbringing and helped ignite his entrepreneurial spirit. For Dangote, one will ever assume his wealth was handed out or easily channeled, being an offspring of Dangote, but his success didn't come through daydreaming. Dangote complemented inherited fortune with deliberate hard work and innovation to pave his way to the top. Those who knew Dangote while growing up will not be surprised at his outstanding success. At age 8, Dangote uses pocket money to buy sweets, which he and others sell for a profit. Everything big in life starts from little. Taking a clue from this, Dangote, from a seed loan of 500,000 obtained from his uncle, started business, which he traded commodities and business supplies, primarily cement. By 1981, his firm was successful that he had incorporated other businesses and established the Dangote Group. His empire extended to foodstuffs, including sugar, salt, wheat, cement, haulage, and other business concerns. Among his holdings were Dangote Industries, Dangote Bale Nigeria, Dangote Cement PLC, Benue Cement Company PLC, Dangote Sugar Refinery PLC, Dangote Flour Mills, Nascent Ally Industries PLC. In addition to its holdings in Nigeria, the Dangote Group has operations in several other African countries. With these giant strides in the business arena, Dangote will forever be grateful to his grandfather for giving him wings to fly. According to Forbes, an American business magazine, Dangote remains the richest man in Africa with an estimated fortune of $13.9 billion. Dangote is one Nigeria, highly decorated with honors as well. His urine service and huge investment also got him both local and international recognitions. Like the Guardian Man of the Year in 2015, he won the 2016 African Business Leader Award organized by the African American Institute. Dangote was cited as one of the top most influential Africans by the New African magazine in 2015, 2017, 2018, and 2019. He was recently conferred with the prestigious award of the National Order of the Lion by the President of Senegal. When it comes to breaking jinx, Dangote has it in full measures. He took his pioneering and jinx-breaking adventure to another dimension with the unveiling of the $20 billion refinery, widely adjudged as the largest single-train petrochemical refinery in the world. The refinery has the total capacity of 650,000 barrels of crude oil per day and is expected to earn as much as $21 billion in annual income. Situated on 2,500 hectares site at the Lekki Free Trade Zone, Lagos, it is supplied with crude oil by the largest subsea pipeline infrastructure in the world. When fully in operation, the refinery will provide 135,000 permanent jobs in the region. When it comes to family life, Dangote seems to, however, prefer maintaining a low profile. He got married to Zainab in 1977 but divorced at an unknown date. He was later married to Maria Mohammed Rufai. Dangote has 3 daughters named Halima, Maria, Fatima, and he also adopted a son named Abdurrahman. Dangote is one grounded authority that combines rare intelligence with self-effacing demeanor, a persona that naturally makes kindness. Like an eagle, Dangote's foresight and unusual business acumen make him a rare to come by. Though he owns chains of business in Nigeria and across Africa, the quest by this uncommon risk taker to conquer more business territories may not wane anytime soon.
First of all, be rebranded.
Premature said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content, and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
Welcome back. This is still SBL, and to our next story. The Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria has disclosed that the federal government has opened discussions with its members to prevent the proposed nationwide strike. The association national president, Gillis Harry, made this known during an interview on Channels Television. The Morning Brief, that was last Monday. Now, he explained that association has declared that the strike due to concerns about the alleged monopoly of fuel supply by the Dangote refinery, which members fear could destabilize the downstream sector. According to him, the association believes fair competition in petroleum supply is vital to sustaining stability in pricing and availability for consumers. Harry added that ongoing talks with government representatives and other stakeholders in the sector are focused on addressing these concerns to avoid disruption in fuel distribution. He emphasized that the association's willingness to work with authorities to achieve a balanced system that ensures fair participation for all players in the industry. He expressed optimism that the engagement will produce a resolution and forestall the strike. Okay, Swift, let's start this way. One man's business, everybody's issue. Why are we having issues with the decision of a business person to go all out and distribute the product he is producing from his own business? Why are people having issues with it?
Okay, so I'm so sorry. I want to first apologize to members of Petrocam, Pengasin, whatever the associations. I want to first apologize. I am not emotionally attached to them. I'm not sentimental to them. I think they're a bunch of people that have kept Nigerians. They have put us under a lot of tough fuel strikes without being emotional and sentimental. Right now, Nigerians seem to see Dangote Petroleum as a messiah. The man is coming out and he has had people that have done fact-checking. Fact-checking in business is when you say, okay, if the product comes out, what are the issues? What are the bottlenecks? What can delay? And they have realized that this group of people seem to pull up strikes. We saw there was a time Lagos state government decided to start to tax them because they were parking on the road and all that. They knew the issues that were going to come from parking on the road. Instead, they went on a strike. That caused a bit of fuel issue for like a week. So Lagos state government had to go back, apologize, say, okay, let's do this, let's release, So these people in the history of Nigeria have always had a way of hand-tying the government and people suffer. Now, Dangote has come out with CNG trucks. What are the issues? Why are they crying? Why are they going on a strike? He has brought out, initially there was the information that the 4,000 CNG trucks they had ordered were not going to come. This has been coming for a long time. Right now, the 4,000 trucks are here. Why are they crying? CNG is cheaper than diesel-based trucks. So it means that when Dangote comes, when you do the markup of petroleum, what Dangote suppliers are going to be supplying is even going to be way cheaper than estimated right now. And so they will not be able to compete anymore because when they get petroleum products, it means any fuel stations they are going to supply to, those people will have to sell way more above, about maybe 100 Naira above what the trucks that Dangote is supplying to. Dangote is just supplying to about 5-6 stations for now. And that is MSR, hidden. There are like 5-6 stations. And so why these people are terrified, it means they are going to run out of business. They are not terrified for Nigerians. They don't care about the average Nigerian. What they are just saying is, we are going to run out of business. Our jobs are going to go. That's what they care about. That this man is refinery coming. Instead of them to go and beg the man, let us register with you.
Why should you beg the man?
Let us see. No, that's the way to go because you have been in charge for a long time. You have been in control. What their fear right now is we have been in control. Now there's a new set of people going to be in control. Initially, some of them thought that they were going to be able to get employment with Dangote, the company. They will be the ones to drive those CNG trucks. But it has been rolled out that the company has already done their interviews. They have their drivers. They are training their drivers already. They already have. So there's no hope for you to come in. So what they are now claiming is there's a law in the Petroleum Act that says that no organization should be in charge of these three streams, that's the upstream and the downstream. So you should never be in charge of, running petroleum and still hold the market monopoly for disbursement. That's why they were able to create so that it will stop strikes, it will stop somebody being in charge of control of pricing. Unfortunately, Dangote is not doing that because he's not supplying to every petrol station in Nigeria. He's supplying to selected few. Some of them he already has stakes in, like MSR that he has already bought, which is his own sister company. So he's still within the law. Like I said, his stakeholders, his troubleshooters, they have gone around the law. They have found out what should be done. How are Nigerians excited about this? We are happy because it means cheaper fuel. It means we will not have to queue, and these people have branches all over Nigeria. So Petrocam and the other people are just terrified. It's like you see the handwriting on the wall. You know, when you see, they say when a father has a son and he sees his replacement in the son, there are two things. Either he decides to teach the son everything he knows, or fight the son, and suddenly you see the father becoming more aggressive, and the mother is wondering, what has this boy really done to you? He just saw his replacement. So Petrocam just saw their replacement. They saw their light flash, and so they are terrified.
According to you, they saw their replacement.
They saw their light flash. That's
according
it.
to you, said
They're
yes.
terrified.
Okay. Now, dear Oracle, let's come to you. We need you to conjure on this. Now, we have preached for a very long time that we want to see businesses that we go global. And now we are seeing just one arm of it, one major arm of it. And there's a whole lot of issues coming from different quarters. Why is someone's ingenuity causing ripples within associations?
Yeah, but it's again to understand our psyche as a people. And I said to people, while I was growing up as a young boy, I stood in all Kalmar classes. A struggle for liberation. And by the time I left the university and came into the real marketplace of idea, I discovered that most of the things that we were being fed with were born out of the selfishness and the desire for power for a certain set of people. And that changed my perspective on the things that Karl Marx advocated. Yes, there are some beautiful ideas that one can learn from them, but it's not the entire or the complete truth. See, this is where we have found ourselves, that when you look at a nation like Nigeria, with so rich potentials, and we have been giants crawling for ages, you can understand the contradictions. That there are certain segments of this society that don't want the good of others. And they don't need to be politicians. They don't need to be imams. They don't need to be pastors. They don't need to be Boko Haram. But they are just there. And because they have been able to garner so much influence over some certain level of people, and again, because of the monopoly and the use of force, they have become so significant that the rest of us get into trouble. Where did all these conversations start from? Dangote decided to say, well, Nigerian refineries were not working. And he decided to say, well, we can make it work. Let's buy them off. And in 2005, 2006, they did the processes. And of course, the Warri and Kaduna refinery, Port refinery, were sold to them. And in 2007, when the late Yadra, God bless his soul, came into office, some of these people who have been feeding on this patrimony for so long decided to convince him that the moribund asset has security implications and the government needed to buy them back. And the Yadra government decided to recover the refinery. From 2013, that I calculated, till 2021, the federal government of Nigeria spent well over $21 billion in the turnaround maintenance of these refineries. Just trying to lay this background so that it can become evidently very clear. With over 4 trillion naira paid on overhead over same period. Not a drop of diesel, not a drop of petrol, not a drop of kerosene. And in 2007, when this resource was taken from Dangote, the man decided to say, well, if I can't have government's own, let me build my own. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, regulation, issues, and at the end of the day, we have the refinery here now producing. Now, the issue was now, who is going to sell it? And the people said they prefer to import. And they were not going to take the mass petrol. And the man said, okay, no problem. If you are not taking my petrol, I don't have a problem. I will buy my trucks, employ my drivers, and sell to those who are willing to buy from me. Now he has implemented that. It has become a national crisis. So it's to let you understand. You see, because we stay at this side of the divide and look at people in government and think that they are foolish. Because sometimes we don't even know the contradiction that they are managing. Every market is open. You have free entry and free exit. If you want to compete, then go ahead and compete. Now you want to, Manu has put in a whole lot of investment into that area, and you are using both the state instrument and power to see how to muzzle him and ensure that that private investment does not succeed. So there are a lot of enemies of Nigerians. And I'm not afraid to say this morning that these petroleum people, that they are the enemy of the people.
That's it.
Because anybody who do not want good thing to happen to his people is an enemy. Why did they, in the first place, the petrol marketer says they were not going to lift his petrol? They were the one who asked for.
And they said imported petrol was suddenly cheaper.
Cheaper.
Than
petrol. Now they run into trouble. Because we are in an environment, and this I have said to a lot of people, because in the village I came from, I always hear this parable as a child growing up.
Okay.
That those who tell the truth, they don't have clothes to go to the village square. That's always given me that impression that the people in the village square, that they are all liars.
Okay. Now, the Oracle has dropped another one. For those in Nigeria, will say another banger. Now, let's...
But before you drop the banger, let's now come to the point that federal government has now agreed to meet with them. So federal government is now still babying them, like Doctor has said. So right now, federal government is now on an open table with them, trying to negotiate.
Okay, now, when you say
but
negotiate...
if you see, what is happening, if the strike happens and the supply is disrupted, it's Tinubu name you'll be hearing on the streets.
Bam! This is where this is why I want
it's
to
government
say
failure you will be
because
talking about.
Nobody's going to talk about them.
So nobody is going to say government created failure. That's the problem. So you are going to be...
But why should government create failure?
Yeah, but government has not created any failure.
Good. So if government has not created any failure, then government should tell them, hey, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, this is an open market.
So government cannot. So the
but you see, the issue is that
government
they are already a clog in the wheel of progress. And like Doctor has said, these people have been able to infiltrate into the government. They have been able to
I agree. Hold on.
You can't just take them out anymore.
How many pump stations do they control?
Don't say that.
I'm just asking a question.
Don't
how many
say
pump
that.
stations do they control?
Don't say that.
And they say we're not going to dispense, is it not? MRS will dispense.
They can also stop the Dangote trucks because they head the Association of Truck Drivers. They can stop them from moving at certain places.
Okay. Is that...
They can cross road.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Let's ask this question.
Is the monopoly of violence, and that's what I'm mentioning.
Okay.
You know, this didn't happen before because, you see, we're only just looking at history. Like my history teacher told me, there are no new events in history. You just have similar event repeats in history. Remember in 2000 and in 1996 to 98, there was a whole lot of back and forth when Abacha came into office.
Yes.
And of course, Peg Hassan was giving him head.
Tough time.
That's what brought NNPC filling station. Abacha invested in petrol tanker. And these same people were making effort to burn down some of those tankers until they started to escort them with army to distribute petrol in this country.
Yes.
That's the point I'm making. That you see, people have become notorious. And because they have also become, I don't know how to describe them now in society, that they have become necessary evil. Because those who are also seeking public offices need their support because they're a group.
Yes, a strong group at that.
To support their ambition. So they become a necessary evil, relevant in some sort. So what the government doing, you have to find a way to fight the fire. And I think that's the reason why all of these meetings are happening.
Going on, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but you see, the bottom line is that you have to play by the books. You have to play by the rules. Let's have market determine condition of supplies and demand. And then you move. If you want to sell petrol, you have others. They said, oh, demand is a monopoly. It's not a monopoly. Demand is producing its petrol and selling. There are other independent marketers who are importing petrol from Malta and all the rest of the places where they are getting the petrol from. Now, so is it that those refineries are folding up?
They said that those ones were coming in cheaper, at least 100 naira cheaper than whatever that was going to do.
They were doing boju.
They were blending something somewhere. Now, if we really want to grow as a nation, we need a lot of these facilities and industries and infrastructure built here, not dependent on importing. That sadly had to go on for a while because we've not met our local demand yet. But these are also questions that beg for answers, serious answers at that. Now, Doc, I really want to ask you this. If someone else's actions has to disrupt my own business and my own livelihood, how do I get redress?
Yeah, but
looking at this strike action,
yes, I think there are a whole lot of there's nothing that protects really says that they cannot be sued. If I feel and I can prove sufficiently that what they have done has negatively impacted on me, I can take them for a lawsuit. And there's nothing in the law that says that they cannot be sued. And what that means, the only person that would not have not been able to be sued was NNPC when they were national asset. But now they are not NNPC. So if they are an association, we will sue the association. But the story is always who will bear the cat.
Who will bear the cat?
Okay. While we look and see who is going to build this cat, we really want businesses to succeed. So, hey, it doesn't matter where you are, Nigerian or non-Nigerian, fear not. Bring those investments this way and let's grow this economy and your pockets together. Let's get to some policy shift. Now, experts have cautioned CBN, Central Bank of Nigeria, against premature rate cuts. The Central Bank of Nigeria has been advised not to hastily relax the monetary policy rate, the MPR, despite recent inflation figures, which experts describe as outliers that do not yet provide a reliable basis for a policy shift. This caution was given by Dr. Paul Alaje, CEO of SPM Professionals, during an interview on Politics Today. He said and noted that while the Apex Bank has implemented several of these commendable reforms in recent months, loosening rates too quickly could undermine economic stability. Okay, now let's talk about this. businessmen are saying, dear CBN, cut rate. Book-studied men are saying, don't cut rate. So, dear Doc, who should we follow?
You know, we're living in a very, very peculiar time. In management, they use the acronym VOLCA for volatility, uncertainty, ambiguity, and complexity. You know, so I look at some of these conversations, you see, because there's a whole lot of complexity that's difficult for you to be able to actually separate the mixture here. When you call them book people, they're actually not book people. They're actually working for some certain set of people. And this system is benefiting a whole lot of people. The hiking rate. And it's benefiting a very few people who are actually be earning so much. And then, of course, these people understand that rate cut also is going to reduce the quantum of what they have been earning. And so they are raising mouthpieces to caution CBN in the name of expertise.
Okay.
You know, but it depends on who is speaking and from what side of the divide that the person who is speaking is. And that, of course, will determine what expertise that he actually had. I have said it for more than 2 years on this table. Hike in rate is a misnomer in Nigeria.
And you still maintain it?
And I cannot move away from it. Because what our governments have done over the years in terms of pushing rates up is to look good in the eye of those who lend us money that we can pay back. And what that has done for us is that it has stifled our growth. And we cannot be competitive. We're living in a global world. And I think there was a beautiful doctor, I think it's a Ugandan doctor, who made this point very clear. And she said, I am a farmer in Uganda. I take facility to run my farm at 40%. And then the man who's coming from Japan is doing the same farm. And he's taking his facility at 1%.
At minus sometimes.
And then you want two of us to go to the same market and compete. And then win. How? Where rates are 1 digit, all in the developed economies, 1 digit. Where people have money, nobody is controlling inflation. And somebody says an expert, and in a society that is ridden with poverty, people can't feed. They can't buy school feed. And you say they have too much money to spend, and therefore you have to increase rates. That is madness. That's insanity. So people must understand that when you are reading economics textbook, read it with common sense. We don't have any cost push inflation here. People don't have money. How many people have money to go to the market to spend that is pushing inflation? We understand what the source of inflation is in Nigeria. Our over-dependence on imported products that is pushing prices beyond the rooftop, out of the reach of the common man. And not that because people have so much money in their pocket and therefore they are overspending. That is not true. The people who have money and they are not up to 10% of this population. Majority of us don't have money. So if majority of us don't have money and you are telling us that, oh, if you push prices up, that's the only way to stabilize inflation, that person must not be a Nigerian.
Okay. Why this person right now is canvassing and trying to get government to listen to them. Government Doc made an allusion that he is speaking on behalf of a group, of an organization, or just like the petrol camp set of association.
Yeah.
He is also representing a particular set of group. But now let's bring it down.
Yes.
Doc talked about an example of the farmer. Let's look generally. Now we have a rate that is from 25, 26, 27 point something. How good can this be for business? Even here locally, you can easily get to the bank and get access to loans that are good for business over the short period of time and be able to dispense your produce and make enough profit to repeat again without being dependent on these particular banks. How can we get CBN to look the way of manufacturers, the way of the market woman, and bring these rates down?
Okay, so when like what doctor said, when I listened to the interview, like doctor said, I was asking, is this guy normal? Now,
Yes, it's very normal.
in as much as I understand what he's saying, he's also looking at the figures. With all the things, with all the new laws and new taxation government has implemented, like I say, it's just that in Nigeria there's no pricing determinants. There are no people that are going around to insist. By now, the economy is supposed to be very stable. That means cheaper food, because if you are removing all tax on importation of food, you are removing, that means the wheat that is coming into Nigeria, bread is supposed to have dropped from 1,200 to about 500 that it was when dollar was 1.5. Bread was about, I think bread was 800 Naira. It was when dollar went to 1.9, when it was hitting almost 2,000, that bread went back to. So he is trying to say that if everything comes into place suddenly, prices of food drop, the inflation that will hit Nigeria, the fact that there will be excess money will be a lot.
Excess money in whose pocket?
In everybody's pockets.
Like seriously?
That's what he is saying. That's what he is saying.
Okay.
That's what he is saying. That's what I'm saying. Because I want to play devil's advocate for and against. Like Doc said, many times if this happens, it means that you and I, without knowing anybody in the banks, can go online and get a loan at 1%, 2%. If you and I can get a loan, it means you and I and 10 other young people can decide to build a refinery. It means that 15 young people can put their heads together and say, let's have the biggest manufacturing company in rubber, because the banks are going to support us. How much are we taking this facility from? 1%. Oh, that's good. 3%, that's fantastic. But by the time your facility you are going to take is 40%, 35%, it means you must know somebody. Why do you have to know somebody in the bank? So that when you cannot repay, they can waive it off as a bad debt. And bad debt usually is waived off for big people. The poor man on the street don't ever get bad debt. They come, they sell their houses and all that. Recently, there's a case in court of one of our biggest comedians whose house that he bought over 200,000. Somebody had sold the house, and there was an issue where the house that he used as collateral, the bank had to sell to someone else. And right now, the court has reversed that. How much did you sell this house? What's the property? That these people had paid more than 75% of their debts. If people have paid 75 to 80% of their debt, why are you still selling the property they used as collateral? Why? A lot of big men, if they were big men, they would have had a bad debt. The 20% would have been written off, because most of the time, the 20% they are owing is the interest on the loan they took. Where are we coming to? If loans are 2%, 3%, it means those people's property would not have been sold. They would have made up for it. But when it's 40%, 35%, 25%, there's a possibility business for the first 3 years will fail, or you will not be able to meet up costs. If that is now the issue, like Doc said, then the common man will be able to build sustainable businesses, because what they are paying. So it's just a group of people who want to tie Nigerians down, and this from a school of thought, that are insisting that no, don't bring down the rates, let the rates still be there, let people still be under pressure. There are some certain banks like this.
Can I share my personal experience?
Yes, please.
We started a small factory, and we needed to import some machine from China. And we were going to partner with a certain bank here in Nigeria. to get facility to import the machine. Total import was about 9 million. We contributed 60%. The bank gave us overdraft of 40% to import the machine. The bank was to issue the LC. This loan tenure is supposed to be for 36 months.
Okay.
For 6 months, the bank could not raise an LC for the importation. And the loan repayment was counting. 8 months down the line, the bank wrote to me that the loan was not performing. And I wrote back to them, look at the proposal I sent to you. The loan will be paid back by the proceed of the factory. Have I received the machine?
Has the factory started?
I have not received the machine. So the factory is not running. So where is the payback going to come from? I'm not the one issuing the LC. You are the one issuing the LC. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The machine came. When I said, okay, give us money to install, they said, no, the loan was not performing. They cannot give us money. So we were running around looking for money for installation. By the time we finished installation, within the space of 2009 to 2013, that 40%, you can calculate it, of 9 million,
My God.
has become 35 million. And they wrote to a debt collector to come and recover
Yes, debt
the
recovery.
property. Took a whole lot of negotiation. Even when the bank failed and they bought the loan to APCON, the
Yes.
bank was still looking for the money under the ground. Because they never get to APCON. But I ended up paying 15 million.
Yes.
So this is the environment in which businesses are operating in Nigeria. And if you stay in one office doing consultancy, people are dashing you money, and you have not run a factory before, or brought a container into the country and understand what it takes to sell, you can be talking like this.
Okay. This is coming with a whole lot of passion and a whole lot of concern, because for everyone out there, we really want to see businesses strive. We have no business. We have no business having issues and running other businesses down because of our own ways of just looking down and making sure that the profit comes our way, overlooking the bigger picture. Now, this is where we also want to see governments play. We want to really see governments play here. The drivers of the economy are not the banks. The drivers of the economy are small businesses everywhere, in every local government, in every state. And if they don't thrive, then it doesn't matter what you subscribe to. The country is going to have issues. So, hey, let's get things going. Now, to our next story, this has to do with the DMO, the Debt Management Office. They've raised 3.03 trillion from federal government's bond in 8 months. Now, the Debt Management Office has announced that it's raised about 3.03 trillion from federal government of Nigeria saving bonds in the first 8 months of 2025. An analysis of the monthly FGN bond auction results from January to August showed that the DMO offered bonds worth 2.13 trillion across short, medium, and long-term maturities. However, strong investor appetite, especially for long-dated bonds, pushed total subscription to 4.94 trillion during the review period. Okay, so are we seeing a kind of new surge, new belief in government bonds, unlike what it used to be before, that people were scared of. Okay, if we have a devaluation or dollar decides to behave extraordinarily, our money just loses value. What is pushing people into this new belief that, okay, yes, let's trust this and buy into it?
Well, you see, there's a whole lot of sentiment that you find in the market that help people to understand that to see a government who is consistent in the things that they are doing, and they have also demonstrated that there's a willpower and that they have a direction where they are going toward. And you see that something is consistent for a period of time, and you see some level of stability. Definitely, the confidence of people will be boosted in such an environment. We also have African countries who are selling bonds and nobody is patronizing. And
that's not fair, doctor. No,
that's true. That's true. So it shows that the right thing is being done. Because every investor is looking for where they can get value.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what government has done. And it has been quite very, very rewarding for some people who have participated. 18% is not small money.
Yeah, 16, 18% interest for short and long-term bonds. Okay.
So people are making, are seeing that benefit is coming, and so they will continue to reap them as they sow. So it's a confidence that the economy is stabilizing, and this is also even a strategic way of government also borrowing without necessarily have to go to the commercial banks to go borrow money at very expensive costs. And then, of course, they are still able to deliver on goods and services.
Okay. While still looking at delivering on goods and services, we have, we are heading to the last quarter of the year. We are in the last month of the third quarter.
Okay.
Right now, do you think government should still go ahead and still pull out more bonds to the public? Or we just stop and see how these ones are going?
So I think we need to still pull out more bonds, like Doctor said.
Should the bonds focus on us here, or let's do like what we did last year, the bonds that were focused
diaspora.
on diaspora bonds?
So I think it should be divided into two. We know the truth is the information is not getting. Many of our brothers in the diaspora are struggling. People in Canada are struggling. Somebody was telling me of a friend of his in Canada that has been sending every month. He needs to send in between $30 to $50 Canadian dollars just to sustain himself. And this guy used to be a former branch manager in one of your big banks here, because when he got there, he realized that life is tougher than what it seems, and having your papers and all that, your citizenship doesn't mean you will get a job, and you and your wife and your family will be able to live from that job. So let's be honest, a lot of people just show those videos of them and they are really struggling. The government needs to do more. And we also need to be concerned about our people in the diaspora, because most of them want to return home, but they want to see how the home front is looking. For businesses, a lot of small businesses are still complaining that they are not getting the loans that they deserve. For example, I have a small business, and I was trying to get a loan, and I know how I've been struggling to get a loan and all that. Now, these government bonds, what are they supposed to do? They're supposed to help me build as a small business and take me to the next level. It is key and it's important for investor confidence that the government should do more. If they stop right now, this is the third quarter. We know how there's always a boom between September, October, November, December that helps to aid businesses. I don't know how that happens. I don't know if it's the dirty December thing, or if it's the fact that companies can just, sit up and go like, okay, this is the profit we have made. Let's push in more profit. You see a lot of CSR initiatives come up at this time. This is when people are giving and all that. So the government needs to actually do more so that these loans can get to the small scale businesses. They can get to those women in Alaba. They can get to me in Oshodi, and they can get to Doctor in Benin.
These bonds this belongs to government. So government are the ones that are using it.
They are the ones
so
using it.
So you want to get a loan, you go to the bank.
That's what we are saying. But the bonds are to cushion, they are to make sure that your economy is looking stronger.
Nigeria's economy?
Yes.
Okay.
It's our economy. No, it's not Nigeria's economy. It's our economy, sir.
While Nigeria's economy and that belongs to us looks good, let's tell you what's happening in Lagos State. There has been renewed confidence in Lagos State as an innovation hub. For those that are wondering. Now, foreign investors are reaffirming their confidence in Lagos as Nigeria's fastest growing innovation hub, following successful outing at GTEX Nigeria, the region's largest technology and startup showcase. Now, let's still bring this, this news back. A lot of times, people make comparisons, and we tend to ask, why should this comparison remain? Why should people be comparing Lagos to some other states? Because if we go back to initially before the Nigerian factor and the country factor, Lagos was considered a region on its own. At the pace at which Lagos is going, how can we get other states to look and start replicating?
Well, I think it's quite possible. Every time I walk the street of Kano, for example, I see United Arab Emirates. That city was a commercial nerve center, trading between North Africa, Middle East was awesome. Today, Kano is a shadow of itself. People make the argument, oh, Lagos is capital city. Calabar used to be a capital of Nigeria. Enugu was a capital at the time. So I think it's the fact that, I don't know how to say this one.
You'll be nice with it.
Okay. My village people will say that God likes the thing that is already made. So, and that's really make it a whole lot of lazy. There's so much that people can do to bring life. She grew up in Benin. She knows what Benin was in its days and glory. Before Europe was thinking about electricity, we had street lights in Benin City. We had moats that controlled the erosion in Benin. Biggest of the defense. Go and see what has happened to it. So these are the situations we find ourselves. That you don't have people who consistently invest and see how to make environment livable. So I think it's possible. State governors, and I think that's the sing song of Mr. President, should be held accountable to build their states. We all have what it takes to build states. The only thing that is not there is the political will to do so. We can create secondary markets and hubs all around Nigeria because there's enough people. Lagos just have less than 30 million people living in here out of 220 million people. The other 200 million, where do they live?
They live in their father's houses.
Okay. So we should make life convenient for them in their father's houses. And I think that's what states needs to do. Invest more in infrastructure, facilitate trade, just the way Lagos has done. Facilitate trade. Put structures in place to take away all the roads. And I think that's what Lagos has done. So they make so much money in terms of IGI. And so people are coming to Lagos the way we are traveling to UK for opportunities. So we move around the entire world and we come in here for opportunity because people see that whatever thing you put around, people are going to buy. So, but I think that creating that economy is not a rocket science, but it's for the state governors, the local government governors, to think outside of the box and create economy around their neighborhood. And there is enough market in those neighborhoods.
Okay, enough market in those particular neighborhoods. Give me just 2 sentences. Let's go to the next story because we're almost running out of time.
I have more than 2 sentences. So let me, like Doctor said, So if you look at Akwa Ibom State of late was, they have been pushing for the federal government that they want to build their own seaport, their own private seaports, like what Dangote is doing. Akwa Ibom State has the highest, they are the local highest metering company. So they literally make most of the meters we use now. Why is Akwa Ibom pushing? Because they understand that once your state is developed, it takes you to the next level. It's like Doctor talked about Lagos State. A lot of times people do not want to face reality. The reason why Lagos is Lagos and it's still doing well is because we have had one party run this state for over 20 years. Many times when a new party comes in, when they
We've had states that have had one party run them for a very long time.
Go! Look at Akwa Ibom. It has been run by a particular party for a while. That's why these states are moving, because once another party comes in, we saw it in Edo State. Hold on. Many times when another party comes in, these party people, they are not smart enough. They don't want to develop on older projects another person has done. So let's say PPA party was doing the road construction from Ikoyi to here.
But I just tell you that those states that are run, they don't have a father figure like Lagos.
Okay, hold on. Now we decided to go this route.
To continue with that PPA road, they will stop it. They will leave PPA road. They will now go to another road because they feel if they complete that PPA road, there's probably 20% left to be complete. They are hailing the other party, the DDP party that was there before. These are the problems we are having in states. Now, the reason why Lagos is there's a lot of continuity. We saw a similar fact happen between Fashola and Ambode, when Ambode seemed to be taking down some of Fashola's products.
Hold on. There is a particular state called Abia State. Abia State was run by PDP for 24 good years. And that state was one of the worst run states in this country.
Who was their father figure?
Who said?
Who was their father figure?
Well, whoever that person is. So, evaluation. Now, when we decide to go party route, let's get to know that this.
No, but it's beyond party.
These people are politicians.
It's beyond party.
But many times it helps. There's consistency. And you see that consistency sometimes. You see that consistency sometimes is key. I've given you Lagos. I've given you Akwa Ibom.
There are several states in the north that have been run by the same party for.
But that is it. Let me give you the rundown for politics. You can understand it. You just talked about Abia. When you look at Uzo and Theodore, are they in good books?
They have never been in good books.
But one brought the other.
No. It doesn't matter. So if you go to Anambra, you'll find the same. If you go to Kano, you will find the same. Ganduje was deputy to Kwankwaso. Where are they today? So that's what I'm saying. You see, when there are things we can't say, there are too many parables in my village.
Of course, what?
That some of them are very terrible if you mention them. They are not airworthy. You see, the role of a father figure in the house
matters a lot.
Yes.
Good. Because my people will say that a boy child brought up by a woman, when he covers his clothes, does not know how to cover his manhood.
Okay. Now let's go to, since we went this route, Delta State, there's a father figure in Delta State.
There's none.
They fought the father figure. They've chased the father figure into hiding. And we saw how Delta...
Hold on. Who chased which
politics, we saw how Delta State was doing when the father figure was there. It was during this time that roads were extended. Even when all the oil companies were in Delta State, they had single roads. During this man's tenure, they had double lanes, 4 lanes for the first time in Delta. The roads were opened.
We are bragging for 4 lane roads. Is that what we are bringing up in national discourse?
I'm just trying to tell you. I used to live inside one of the estates of an oil company. When you come out of that place, the street beside it, it looks as if you walked out of heaven to hell.
Okay. How developed?
That's what we are telling you.
Yeah, but you see,
business attractive.
You see, the issue is
wow.
No.
Aside the oil companies that are going there for exploration, what else is driving in those?
I agree. You see, the difference between Lagos another state. That's what I'm saying to you. And this is what people talk about when you have single parent raised children. The level of discipline in that house is a big issue. So it's not just about having one single party. It's having a structure on the ground that arranges how things are run. Igbe has been in Lagos since 2007. What's their work? To articulate how Lagos should look like. There's a Lagos blueprint and master plan.
Yes.
For 50 years. How they want to see development in 50 years. Tell me another state in Nigeria that has a blueprint.
Well, Abia is just coming up with one now.
I think Akwa Ibom too pushed for one.
It's the time you wake up that is your money.
Well, when you wake up, that is your money. Now, for everyone out there, we will never stop talking. If we must emulate, yes, people say let's look at China, let's look at Japan. Yeah, but let's start inward. What are those particular opportunities we see other states get? What are those beautiful development, infrastructure that is coming up? What are those systems that they are building that is making business thrive in their state? It will cost you some good money to take a flight and head to China, but it will cost you less to visit those particular places and replicate in this state. This nation is our responsibility, and we must grow it. We have no choice. We have no other places. It doesn't matter how far you go, there's no place like home. My name is SOUQ, John Rogers SOUQ, and it's been a pleasure having you on SOUQ Business Landscape today. Swift.
All right, like I always tell you, Nigeria is our home, it's our country. There's nowhere we are running to. Wherever you run to, after 20, 30 years, you come back home. So let's build it. Let's put our hands together and make a conscious effort to move forward. See you tomorrow again from 8 to 10 a.m. when we discuss all delicate issues. My name is Swift Aderinto.
Jorako himself.
Osama Zaid Hossa is my name. Pleasure to be here. Africa is moving forward. Africa is rising. And we will succeed if all of us put our hands to lift this burden.
Okay, and that is a prayer, not just a request. And that I beg and tell you we have to do. See you tomorrow. Be nice.
This is where I step in.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Premature said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, you know, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ Business Landscape.
Idumota Market. Eko Idumota, once a residential neighborhood, is home to Idumota Market located on Lagos Island. It is one of the oldest and arguably one of the largest markets in West Africa. Idumota is a historic neighborhood adjacent to the Lagos port that facilitated the slave trade, and later under the British indirect rule, it surrounded to exports that fueled the colonial enterprise. Idumota was also the location of an armed forces remembrance cenotaph called Soja Idumota, built as a monument to Nigerian soldiers who served with the West African Frontier Force. An Eyo Masquerade statue and a clock tower are also some monuments at Idumota. Idumota Market is so popular that large sales are recorded as early as 7 a.m. The market is made up of hundreds of locked-up shops occupying several multi-story buildings, with some measuring about 5 or more floors. In 2010, the Lagos State government demolished some illegal structures in order to improve vehicular and human movement in and around the markets. During weekdays, the neighborhood of Idumota is densely populated by shoppers, traders, and bus passengers. From the Carter Bridge ascending into Lagos Island, passengers can see the neighborhood before disembarking at their final destination. Idumota Market accommodates the substantial inflow of imported goods. The bulk of import from abroad are routed first through Idumota and then on to other markets through Nigeria and other West and Central African countries. The energy of private Idumota traders and wholesalers facilitate this activity, where millions of US dollars worth of wholesale is exchanged daily. Idumota Markets, SOUQ Enlightenment. Tafawa Balewa Square, TBS. Tafawa Balewa Square was initially used as a horsing ground called Lagos Race Course. The edifice was constructed by General Yakubu Gowon in 1972 and named after Nigeria's first Prime Minister, Sir Tafawa Balewa. Tafawa Balewa Square is located at 45/57 Masi Bangboshe Street on Lagos Island, Lagos, and referred to as TBS. TBS is a 50,000-seater capacity venue and houses the Remembrance Arcade, the 26-story Independence House, which at a time was the country's tallest building. When Lagos served as the country's seat of government, the National Assembly Complex was within the TBS. Also in the square are the National Broadcasting Commission Office, the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency Office, shopping centers, travel agencies, restaurants, car parking lots, and a bus terminal. Tafawa Balewa Square is adorned with beautiful statues of white horses and red eagles, symbols of strength and dignity. Our historic neighbors include the King's College and the Holy Cross Cathedral. Tafawa Balewa Square hosted some of the country's memorable events such as the Independence Day in 1960 when Nigeria gained independence from Britain, the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, which is celebrated annually on January 15. The edifice is a national cultural asset. Tafawa Balewa Square, SOUQ Enlightenment.
Hello Nigeria, hello Africa. Yeah, this is Sound Man. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Babalola from Excel LED. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Shepherd Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoy you all to always watch SOUQ News TV.
Hi, I'm Tom Boggaballs, and please keep watching SOUQ News.
Wale Seriki, SLG Lagos Island East, SOUQ News. Keep out watching them and keep a lookout for them. They're up and coming, and we're proudly to be affiliated with them.
You alone where they make me go crazy. This your love in the cool of my brain. You're my medicine, I need you all day. Yo, it's Blackface Nigeria, and you're watching SOUQ News TV. Keep it locked on this dial, don't change it. You know what I say? Blackface Nigeria, love no bad.
Hospitality is a very interesting and dynamic industry, hospitality industry, very interesting and dynamic. And as we know, we have global best practices, that are acceptable. It's just like norms that are acceptable in the industry. So when you talk about global best practices, it encompasses a lot of things, a lot of dimension, in terms of technology, in terms of service delivery, in terms of training and retraining of staff, even the recruitment, onboarding of staff. There's so many things involved when you talk about global best practices. Well, let me just say the main challenge we have in this climb is orientation, education. In this climb, many people go into the hospitality business without much information about what they are about to go into. You see, the problem with us in this climb is education. You see, many of our hotel owners are not properly educated before going into the business. I've had series of experiences on the field where some people must have wasted fortune and they will now realize that they need consultants. And by that time, let me say it may be late already. Before you go into any business, get to understand, how it works. The hotel business is a very complex business. Like globally, the trend is making sure your guests' expectations are exceeded. And so many, the technology is employed in making sure this is possible. You won't believe that up to now, we still have some of our local brands. In fact, most of our local brands have not even adopted the PMS. PMS is property management software, where you right from the guest arrival, in fact, right from online, by the time you are checking online to know about the hotel, their products and all that, right from online to when you get to the front desk and throughout all your experiences, all these things are captured by a software, makes the experience so robust and all that. Up till now, many of our local brands still find it difficult to adopt this PMS. To them, it's expensive. To them, they don't see any reason for it. And this is what makes, it improves guest experiences. It makes you satisfy your guests. You even exceed their expectations. Makes just just on the touch of a button, things are already happening. In the Western world, they're already going into, AI, right from CRM, customer relations management, service, CRS, and all that. They're already exploring using AI and all that. Here we are still on biro and paper. How do you compare the brands? The local brands are built around the owners. The owner, tells you either he is knowledgeable or not about the business. He runs it like a one-man business. And at the demise of the owner, the business dies. Unlike the global brands. The owners of Marriott are long gone. And Marriott keeps multiplying. all over the globe. Right now, they have about more than 1.5 million properties all over the world. They have acquired Sheraton here in Lagos, even 4 Point by Sheraton. You see them expanding. What is the secret? It's all about process, system. When there's no process, there's no system, then you are planning to fail. And it's a common saying that when you don't plan, you're already planning to fail. When there's no planning, many of them go into the business without proper feasibility studies. You know, a young man came in from diaspora, was not just last year, to invest in this same hospitality business, set up a lounge on the island. You won't believe it. 6 months, 100 million was gone. And he had to pack up and return back again. So what is happening? Why is it that the global brands are thriving and our own brands are not thriving? Meanwhile, we should even have some advantages over the global brands because it is natural. We are naturally hospitable. It is our nature in Africa. You know, hospitality, Africa is hospitality, hospitality is Africa. You know, so all we need to do is to get the formal training and convert our virtue, hospitality virtue, into in a professional way and run the business professionally. Well, actually, it's not by the quality. We still have some boutique hotels, you know, that are doing very well in the country. They are already trying as much as possible to, you know, follow the global best practices. You know, it's not until your hotel is so massive and big before you can exceed your guest satisfaction, you know. No. Even if it's just several rooms, you can still have a brand that can be reckoned with. You know, a brand is not until it's massive before you can say you have a brand. You can have a brand even in a small hotel. You can create a brand. So it's not about of course, we have some hotels that takes care of the middle class and they are doing it perfectly well. But what I'm just saying is majority of them are not doing it well because they have refused to adopt the tech. They have refused, you know, to follow, you know, good processes. They don't care about training. As far as they are concerned, the staff are just slaves. They use them and dump them. You know, they believe that if they don't do well, fire them, hire another person. You know, your business will be going in circles. You have to create a kind of linear graph, not the one that will just go up and fall down again. You know, try, you know, to train your staff. Like I always tell people, if you don't train them, don't blame them. Because, I mean, you can't imagine spending billions of naira to erect a structure in the name of a hotel, and you cannot even onboard your staff properly. Most of them, they just employ anyhow, put their relatives, and they start running. There is no onboarding program, no vision, no mission, no core values, no SOPs, and and as far as they're concerned, they are running a business. You know, when the owner is not around, nothing can happen, and the guests are complaining. Why is it that you don't have these things in stock? You cannot tell them that our MD is not around, that's why he has not released money. That should be budget. You run such businesses on budget. If he has to release money, he releases the money, you know, as at when the budget is ready and the budget is funded. So the business runs on autopilot. It doesn't have to be there. But most of these local brands, they want to be there to see everything, and it's not possible. It's not possible. Or else, like I said, at the demise of the owner, the business dies. What is the secret behind the companies like Coca-Cola, and all the Marriotts of this world, the Sheraton, etc.? What's the secret? It's because they have process and they have a system. So once there is no process, you're just wasting your time. So and like I always say, a brand is built. It does not come by accident. There has to be intention. It has to be deliberate. You have to be deliberate about building a brand. Well, the truth is, staff will always live where they are not well treated. One thing is to say you are training. Another thing is the environment conducive for them? They are not animals. If they are well treated, they will stay. They receive training. They see a future in the organization. There's nothing like staff handbook. You don't even know your rights. You don't know your privileges. You don't know where the company's right stops and where yours starts. You don't know whether you are entitled to leave or not. In fact, that one is in the hotels. In our climb here, there is nothing like leave. You treat them anyhow. Why will they stay? But go and check out those local brands that have adopted these global best practices. Their staff are not going because they see a future. And the issue of trust, you're talking about trust. It's not peculiar with the local brands. If money can be stolen in the local brands, it can be stolen in the international brands. But the difference is the process. You see, like most of our clients, when we try to consult for, when we take over, I always tell them, look, let's put a system in place. Increase their salaries. Let their salaries be enough. Then those that were there with the wrong intention, by the time the systems are in place, they will leave because they know they cannot steal. Recently, in one of the hotels I consult for, somewhere in Ogun State, we recruited the maintenance officer, and they overheard him talking on phone that, it's like there are no lapses here. Barely 7 days. He was already looking for, lapses to explore, and that he has to leave. You won't believe, within a week, he has already given us a notice that he's resigning. Why? Because there's a system in place. Use this PMS we are talking about. Property management software. It has different modules. You have the front desk module. You have the restaurant and bar modules. You have the accounting module, the inventory module. Different modules, and they all work together. It's a central thing. Even the HR module, whereby you onboard your staff on the software. Right on the software, you know whether their documents are complete or not. Those that are 80% complete, what are the outstanding documents, the guarantors, and all those things. But most of these people, when you tell them, it's alien to them. They don't believe it's workable here. All theirs is, and another thing, another dimension, another thing I noticed about our local owners is, how much was your sales yesterday? The next thing is he has taken everything. He's going to party. No future. The business has no future. And when the employees see you spend like that, see you behave like that, you are also tempting them to start behaving like that, to go into the money if they have the opportunity to, because they don't have a future in that business. They know their future is not guaranteed. Tomorrow the business might fold up because of the recklessness of the owner. You're building a business. Allow it to grow. Nurture it. Let it grow. Let it grow. Let me break it down. Like when I say the front desk module, the module has a lot of features whereby when your guest walks in, or either online, you can book online, and it will reflect right there. You can book right from London. You go to the website, the hotel's website, and right from the comfort of your bedroom, you are seeing the different categories of rooms, just as if you are already in the hotel. And you are seeing the attached rack rates. And you make a pick. And as you pick, you have the option of payment. And as you make the payment, you reserve the date and a future date, and you make the payment. As soon as you make the payment, it reflects right in the hotel on the front desk. For example, you picked room 107, and somebody else walks into the front desk and says, I want room 107. Sorry, it will show that it's no more available, even though you didn't see the guests, but it's been paid for online. Can't you see it makes life easy? It increases, improves the guest experiences. It makes your potential guests or your guests happy, makes things easy for them. So you can achieve that online. You can also achieve it by walking into the front desk, and you can make a reservation. All you need to do is check the rooms. You don't even need to go around and looking at the rooms. It's displayed for you at the front desk. You have it on the screen. You see the different categories of room. You make a pick, and you make payment. Now, when you make payment, a receipt is generated immediately. Another thing is, that's what you call door integration. When you're talking about fraud, you integrate your door. That's the card system, not the iron key, the card system. You integrate it with your software in such a way that once a card is activated, because once payment is made, the card is activated automatically. The owner already gets an alert. In some software, it's called MRS, Management Report System, that a room has been sold. Either you are there or not. It's as clear, as simple as that. You don't need to come, and some owners will come and sit down at the reception to see what is happening. No, you don't even need a camera. Everything is automated. No room can be opened. You can't access any room without the card being activated. And the card cannot be activated except payment is made. It's only the payment that activates the card. Can you see that control? So now another question comes. What about when you want to clean the room? How do you get the card? That's what you call, MasterCard.